The concubine sister and the Marquis were deeply devoted to each other. For her sake, the Marquis wouldn't even eat female chickens, ducks, or fish. Every time my elder brother saw the concubine sister, he couldn't help but sigh, wishing Ninglan were his own flesh and blood sister. Everyone adored her, yet no one remembered that the Marquis had once been my betrothed. He clearly disliked me, yet personally petitioned for the imperial decree of marriage. He even orchestrated my capture during a secret rendezvous, all to elevate his concubine-born sister to legitimate daughter status. My chastity compromised. I ended my life with a white silk cord. At that very moment, they paraded through the streets in a 10-mile-long wedding procession, their love the envy of all. Afterward, my brother knew the truth yet concealed it, merely sighing. I simply lack the fortune to compare with Ninglan, reborn on the day of the imperial betrothal. This time, no one shall get their wish. By the mandate of heaven, the emperor decrees, Jiang family's legitimate daughter, gentle and virtuous, graceful and refined, is hereby betrothed to the Marquis. Mother beamed as she presented a lavish pouch to the eunuch delivering the edict. My daughter will soon be the Marquise. The imperial decree bore no name, for I alone was the Jiang family's legitimate daughter. Everyone assumed this betrothal was meant for me. I forced a stiff smile. She didn't notice, only she rejoiced over this match. My elder brother's face darkened. Mother, Ningxue has a stubborn nature. Before the wedding, you must instruct her well, lest she cause embarrassment after marriage. If it were Ninglan, perhaps only I understood his unspoken words. He meant it would have been better if the decree had been for Ninglan. He was my own flesh and blood brother. Yet he favored the quiet, timid Ninglan, the one who would timidly call him brother and dutifully sew him pouches and socks. As for me, I knew only eating, drinking, and revelry. I glanced at Ninglan beside me. She was the youngest daughter in the family. Though a concubine's child, she'd been raised by the old matriarch since childhood, never wanting for fine clothes or food. Today she wore a light-colored brocade gown with subtle patterns, understated yet luxurious, making her appear exceptionally delicate and beautiful. Only, she had always been timid before, and I had never really noticed her. Now, too, there was no joy on her face. Of course not. She had long been secretly involved with the Marquis. Yet now everyone was congratulating me instead. Naturally, she was unhappy. Sitting before the mirror, I touched my own neck. It was as white as jade, free of the terrifying bruises from my past life. On this very day in my previous existence, the Marquis had not even asked me before summoning the imperial decree of marriage. Back then, I had already fallen for Song Yurong. Yet I knew the imperial decree could not be defied. I couldn't endanger my entire family for my own sake. I buried all my feelings, preparing to become the Marquis's wife obediently. Just as I severed ties with Song Yurong, I encountered the Marquis out with his elder brother. He flew into a rage, declaring the Jiang family looked down on him. As the emperor's confidant and the dynasty's youngest Marquis, the Jiang family couldn't afford to offend him. My father, enraged, nearly beat me to death. In the end, it was the old lady who made the decision. My reputation was ruined. The Marquis would never marry me. Yet we couldn't defy the imperial decree. We'd register Ninglan as the legitimate daughter and marry her to the Marquis. We'd provide a generous dowry to compensate both Ninglan and the Marquis. It had to be the old lady. This household truly couldn't manage without you. Father flattered her. I dislike Ninglan, yet I feel guilty toward her. I caused this mess, forcing her to clean up my mess, and even dragged Song Yurong into it. Father cursed me, wishing I'd just die, while my brother accused me of shamelessness. A white silk cord became my final resting place. After death, I didn't reincarnate but drifted within the Jiang residence. Ninglan shed a single tear for my passing, second sister truly is pitiful. The matriarch embraced her, soothingly saying, Lan'er is simply too kind-hearted. And that Ningxue girl, how could she be so shameless? She bullied you all her life, constantly flaunting her legitimate status. Yet now she's brought such shame upon our family. As for the Marquis, to go to such lengths for you, he truly is a worthy man. Ninglan nodded shyly. He knew I suffered because of my concubine-born status. Now he's secured legitimate daughter status for me. But will mother agree? The matriarch smiled calmly, with her daughter committing such an act. How could she possibly oppose it? Besides, during our last ancestral pilgrimage, I already changed your status to legitimate daughter. Listening nearby, my heart shattered. What a deeply affectionate grandmother and granddaughter. So they had known all along what the Marquis had done. They always spoke of shared honor and shared disgrace. Yet at the critical moment, they let outsiders destroy my reputation. Song Yurong and I were reckless. But she and the Marquis were bound by deep affection. The Marquis wants Ning Lan to become the legitimate daughter. But she already became one long ago. Unbeknownst to anyone. Why go to the trouble of scheming against me? Mother would never agree. If I die, Mother and my brother will surely uncover everything. It won't go as the Marquis wishes. I drifted toward Mother's courtyard. Mother, Ningxue is dead. The most important thing now is that the marriage alliance with the Marquis must not be severed. My brother showed no sorrow in his eyes. As if an insignificant stranger had died. He earnestly persuaded Mother to give Ninglan the dowry originally meant for me. To bolster her standing. Mother wept until her eyes were swollen red. Yet she agreed under my brother's persuasion. After all, the Marquis held great power and influence, and could one day elevate my brother. Such is the nature of even the closest kin. Numbly, I watched my own hasty burial. Half a year later, the entire household joyfully sent Ninglan off to her wedding. Her procession of red adornments stretching for 10 li. The envy of all who saw it. Gazing at the vivid face in the mirror, I couldn't help but laugh aloud. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Young lady. What's wrong? I forced a smile. Nothing. Just thought of something amusing. Mother dragged me aside daily to show me the dowry items she'd prepared. Today a pearl necklace from the jewel pavilion. Tomorrow a brocade gown from the rainbow robe pavilion. Unlike my previous life, I didn't begrudge it. Each day, I happily flaunted my dowry. My brother frowned and scolded me. How can you be so shameless? Can't you learn some of Lan'er's composure? Ninglan still smiled timidly. Sister. It's your liveliness that makes you so lovely. I'm sure the Marquis would adore you just the way you are. Her eyes betrayed unhidden anxiety. She feared I might truly marry the Marquis. That day, I received a letter from Song Yurong. He said he was unworthy of me, urging me to forget this love. He only wished to see me one last time to bring closure. I burned the letter without expression. In my past life, when we met at Xianghua Temple and were caught by the Marquis and my elder brother, I ended my life with a white silk cord, still worrying I might drag him down. Later, however, he rose through the ranks and amassed wealth under the Marquis's patronage. Once, when drunk, the Marquis told him, Brother, Jiang Ningxue is dead. I owe you a wife. But rest assured, I'll make it up to you. It turned out he had colluded with the Marquis all along. That was why he chance encountered our secret meeting. His goal was to expose our affair publicly, forcing me, the disgraced legitimate daughter, into marriage with him so he could control me later. Though I died under the Marquis's manipulation, Song Yurong accidentally witnessed a nobleman's legitimate daughter changing clothes. The two were then bound by betrothal. That legitimate daughter was gentle and virtuous. Yet after marriage, she was tormented by Song's mother until she suffered a miscarriage. Song Yurong used this as an excuse to take dozens of beautiful concubines. On the day mentioned in the letter, I did not go. Instead, I sat quietly in my boudoir, placing the prepared perfume in my pouch. My absence enraged Song Yurong, prompting another letter. Mountains may crumble. Heaven and earth may merge. Yet I dare not sever ties with you. Ning Xue. I seek nothing more now, only one final meeting to ease this yearning. Human hearts know love's madness, this sorrow has nothing to do with wind or moon. When I burned the 7th letter, the Marquis could no longer contain himself and personally invited me out. I still refused, after our marriage. There will be ample time to meet. My days at home are numbered now, I wish only to stay with my parents and fulfill my filial duty. The Marquis could not refute this reasoning. He undoubtedly wished to expose my affair with Song Yurong. Yet he dared not make a public spectacle, lest it tarnish the entire Jiang family's reputation and implicate his precious Ning Lan. To ensure Ning Lan received everyone's remorse and compensation, while compelling me to obediently follow his plan. This matter could only be resolved by the Jiang family themselves. Father and mother were unlikely candidates. The matriarch prided herself on impartiality and wouldn't openly orchestrate such a scheme. That left only one person. My brother placed a lotus flower cake from Drunken Immortal Pavilion before me. Ning Xue. Why haven't you been going out lately? I picked up a piece of the lotus root cake and took a bite. This cake was a famous specialty of Drunken Immortal Pavilion. With only 20 pieces sold each day. One had to queue for a long time to get it, a privilege I'd never enjoyed before. My brother always says I lack composure and might cause embarrassment after marriage. I think he has a point. So I'm using this time to study etiquette and temper my spirit. Before you know it, you'll be married. I've been reflecting lately, I was too harsh with you before. Ning Xue. Don't worry. No matter what, I'll always be your support. Once married, you won't have the same freedom as at home. Use this time to get out and clear your mind. Such heartfelt words, I've never heard them before. Not in this life or the last. Seeing his face filled with concern and reluctance, I couldn't help but recall the day Ning Lan married the Marquis in my past life. He was dead drunk, muttering, Lanner. Lanner. The Marquis truly cherishes you. He endured great hardship to secure your status as his legitimate daughter. With Ning Xue gone, no one will ever vie with you again. You'll be happy for the rest of your life. He knew the Marquis had schemed against me. Yet he still regarded him as a friend. My death meant nothing to him. He even rejoiced that my demise could only benefit Ning Lan. I couldn't fathom his coldness toward his own sister. Until I saw the unmasked pain in his eyes as he called out Ning Lan's name, then I understood. Ha ha ha. How utterly absurd. He continued pleading with me earnestly. I lowered my gaze. Feigning ignorance, since you say so. Brother. I'll go out for a walk to clear my head. Brother. In our past life, all of you got your wishes. This life, it's my turn to have mine. Though reborn, I haven't grown wiser and still can't find a way to save myself. But thankfully, I've cut off everyone else's escape route. Behind the state minister's temple lay a peach grove. It was March, and the blossoms fell like snow, blooming in wild splendor. When I arrived, I saw Song Yurong standing beneath the trees, tall and graceful, the very picture of refined elegance. Who could have imagined that beneath such a gentlemanly exterior lay a heart as filthy and vile as mud? Ning Xue, you've finally come. I walked toward him step by step. Beneath his gaze, filled with feigned affection, I clenched the hairpin and thrust it into his heart. All who harm women with the guise of chastity deserve death. I'll see you off. On the road to the underworld. Remember who killed you. Before he could utter a word, I shoved him off the cliff. I'd coated the hairpin with animal attractant powder, perhaps he'd survive the fall only to experience the agony of being devoured alive by beasts. I erased all traces, then sat peacefully beneath the trees admiring the blossoms. A quarter hour later, the Marquis arrived here with my elder brother. Finding me alone, both men looked startled. Second Miss Jiang. Why are you alone? Your Excellency jests. Who else would I be with? Could I possibly be meeting someone else in secret? I covered my mouth and giggled softly. Not at all. But it's unsafe for a young lady to be out alone. Second Miss should find someone to accompany her. The Marquis laughed heartily. You'd never guess that such a general, who fought fiercely on the battlefield, was so adept at the dirty tricks of court intrigue. We chatted idly for a while. The Marquis glanced around, yet never spotted the person he sought. Heh heh. Song Yurong is already at the cliff's base. By now, she's likely being torn apart by wild beasts. I watched the two with a smile, my blood boiling at the thought of what was about to unfold. Meeting is fate. If the Marquis doesn't mind, might we share a cup of tea? Xianghua Temple had a private courtyard reserved for dignitaries to rest after offering incense. With composed demeanor, I smoothly brewed tea for them. Both gulped it down absent-mindedly. Please wait here a moment. I've also prepared peach blossom cakes for you to taste. Noticing their flushed faces, I thoughtfully closed the door for them. Who says only women care about chastity? I'll see if they can still be good brothers after this. A quarter of an hour later, I heard movement inside. A smirk spread across my face. Then, taking a deep breath, I let out a shriek that echoed throughout Xianghua Temple. What's happening? What's going on? Is there a thief inside? Passing pilgrims drew near upon hearing the commotion. The muffled sounds from within left no doubt in anyone's mind. Madame Qin, the wife of the nearby imperial censor, recognized me. Isn't that Miss Jiang? What's happening in there? I could only bury my face in my hands and sob, unable to utter a word. Whoever committed such an act in Xianghua Temple deserves death. Guards, break down the door. A sickening stench filled the room. Crowding in with noses pinched, they saw only a large bed. There lay the Marquis and Zhang's eldest son. The Marquis was a rising star in the court. His elder brother famously upright and untainted, many recognized them. One was Miss Zhang's elder brother, the other her betrothed. This. We should fetch Magistrate Jiang. The two on the bed regained consciousness. Seeing the scene before them, the Marquis fixed me with a murderous glare. Second Miss Jiang. What a ruthless move. I could only sob, covering my mouth. You shameless scoundrels. At this point, you still think to silence me by murder? The crowd erupted in a cacophony of voices. Why threaten a young girl like this? Your lordship? We all witnessed today's events. Do you truly intend to kill us all? Miss Jiang, you must try to see things clearly. Amidst the chaos, father and mother hurriedly arrived and took us away. In the Jiang family hall, father sat at the head of the table, his face dark and grim. Mother looked dazed, still unable to believe what she had witnessed. Her perfect, promising eldest son had stolen his own sister's husband. Heaven above! What kind of world is this? The Marquis recounted the events. Second Miss Jiang proved herself ruthless, shameless, and short-sighted. She disregarded blood ties and family bonds, using such despicable means to frame her own kin. Truly vile and utterly despicable. Her brother was utterly devastated. As a civil official, how could he possibly maintain his standing in court after such a scandal? Ning Shui, what have I ever done to deserve this? How could you ruin my entire life? Father, upon learning of this, nearly killed me. He lashed out with a slap. You wretched thing. I should have strangled you at birth. I raised you with the finest food and care, and now you seek to destroy the Jiang family. I wasn't about to stand there and take it. I ducked my head and dodged the blow. Mother wept bitterly. What was this for? How did a happy family come to this? Ha ha ha. Of course it's because they schemed against me first. The Marquis loves Ning Wan. He knew full well I had someone I loved. yet deliberately sought to marry me. Then, together with my elder brother, he set me up to be caught in the act, ruining my reputation. That way, the Jiang family would feel indebted to him, recognize Ning Lan as his legitimate daughter, and marry her to him with a grand wedding procession. My brother knew the truth. Yet for Ning Lan's sake, to curry favor with the Marquis, he not only concealed it from me but repeatedly urged me to go out, creating opportunities for the Marquis to catch us in the act. Brother, am I not your sister? How dare you question me? I bore them no grudge. Yet they schemed against me for their own gain, using the most vicious methods against a woman. Had the Marquis not known martial arts, I would have pushed him off the cliff at Xianghua Temple long ago, joining Song Yurong in death. Silence fell over the scene. The truth was too bizarre for anyone to accept. Mother asked my brother in disbelief, "Is this true?" Hiding it now would be pointless. My brother said gravely, "Mother, I did this for Ningxua's own good. Her temper is too wild, she's unsuitable for the Marquis's household." I clapped my hands. Brother speaks wisely. Family should cherish one another. You considered me, and this is my way of repaying you. You've always wanted to build a relationship with the Marquis, but marrying off just one sister wasn't enough. Now that you share this connection with him, he'll genuinely promote you. My brother's face turned ashen. With this connection, the upright faction of civil officials would never accept him. Over a decade of hard study, destroyed in a single night. Mother scanned the room, then let out a wail and lunged at Ning Lan, who had remained silent. "It's all your fault. You little slut. If not for you, how could my son's future be utterly ruined?" Watching Ning Lan endure several slaps, the old lady could no longer stay seated. "Stop. What kind of spectacle is this? What does this have to do with Lan'er?" It was Ning Shui who acted without restraint, first engaging in an illicit affair with another man, thus giving him an opening. The old lady looked at me with contempt. "Ning Shui, not only do you show no remorse, but you schemed against your own brother. Do you not understand that when one prospers, all prosper together, and when one suffers, all suffer together? The Jiang family's reputation is ruined. What good end will you have?" I immediately smashed the teacup. "Old hag, stop pretending to be innocent. I haven't even mentioned you yet. The Jiang household isn't a marketplace. How did the Marquis learn of matters unknown even to our father and mother? Wasn't it your precious Lan'er who spilled the beans? When she exposed her own sister's disgrace, did she consider that we rise and fall together? The Marquis had an affair with her. Why didn't you call her unprincipled? You, who constantly preach propriety. Weren't you covering for them? You're the shameless one chasing empty fame. What gives you the right to lecture on propriety?" The old lady nearly toppled over in fury. "You're lying. Lan'er isn't that kind of person. Stop slandering her." I scoffed coldly. "Whether it's a lie or not, a simple search will prove it. Two people deeply in love would surely have exchanged letters and tokens." The old lady and Ning Lan paled, yet dared not retort. Father, hearing his daughters had each taken lovers, even the old lady involved, was so furious he didn't know whom to scold. The Marquis, however, gazed deeply at Ning Lan. At this point, I'll be frank, Ning Lan is indeed the one I wish to marry. The imperial decree has already been issued. The alliance between our families is inevitable. Ning Lan's eyes welled up with emotion. Though the Marquis had schemed against her sister and humiliated the brother who cherished her, he had done it all for her sake. Such devotion was undeniably moving. Her father recoiled in fury. "If you truly loved Ning Lan, why didn't you just say so? Would I have refused? After all this chaos, you still dare speak of marriage?" The matriarch cleared her throat. "I see the Marquis holds genuine affection for Ning Lan. Since the deed is done, we might as well grant them their wish." Though she'd lost a grandson and granddaughter, Ning Lan was her most cherished grandchild, all others were secondary. The Jiang family's reputation was crumbling. If they didn't secure the marquis now, Ninglan would never find such a powerful match. The matriarch cared little for accusations of favoritism at this moment. Father had always valued the Jiang family's prosperity above all. Now that his most promising son was ruined, strengthening the family through marriage was the only option. With the marquis feeling indebted to the Jiang family, holding this leverage ensured he wouldn't abandon them. Seeing father's wavering resolve, mother erupted in fury. You Jiang family are all heartless, treacherous creatures. My son and daughter are ruined, and you want Ninglan to step over their corpses to rise? You're dreaming. I will never consent to recognizing Ninglan as a legitimate daughter. If she wishes to marry the marquis, let her go as a concubine. The old matriarch flashed a confident smile. During our last ancestral pilgrimage, I already registered Ninglan under your name as your legitimate daughter. If the marquis wishes to marry her, none of you can stand in his way. Why not be magnanimous and grant them their wish? At these words, every face darkened. Father stepped forward and kicked Ninglan to the ground. Had filial piety not restrained him, that kick would have landed squarely on the old lady herself. The marquis intends to make Ninglan his legitimate daughter before marrying her. The old lady has already registered her as such. You two had connections. Had a secret affair. If you'd just communicated, none of this would have happened. Did you think everyone else was a fool? Yes. It could have been a happy ending for all. But they insisted on sacrificing others to prove their deep love and loyalty. Well, isn't that just great? Now everyone's lost all dignity, and the entire family stands united in being spat upon. The old lady finally realized she was in the wrong. She was speechless for a long time. She had always considered herself the wisest in this household, with everything under her control. She never imagined I could cause so much trouble. My elder brother glared at everyone with bitter resentment. At this moment, he felt all his sacrifices for Ninglan were nothing but a joke. But he didn't know yet, his time to weep hadn't come. The next day, the imperial censor submitted a report accusing Jiang Ruozhu, the eldest son of the Jiang family, of moral corruption, private misconduct, and contempt for imperial grace. Affairs between men were, in truth, no great matter. If word got out, it would merely be another tale of romantic escapades. The real problem was that the other party was his future brother-in-law. Moreover, this marriage had been personally bestowed by the emperor. Jiang Ruozhu's actions, to put it bluntly, showed utter disregard for the imperial decree, an offense punishable by death. Father pleaded desperately in court, but imperial authority could not be violated. The emperor immediately stripped my elder brother of his official rank. He could never hold public office again. The marquis also faced a scathing indictment from the censor. The emperor had long been troubled by the marquis's excessive power. Now, with this ready excuse, he revoked the marquis's military authority and ordered him to reflect on his actions in seclusion. When news reached the Jiang household, mother collapsed on the spot. Jiang Ruozhu nearly strangled me. Jiang Ningxue, seeing my fate, are you satisfied now? I grinned. Brother, how can you say such things? Your sister only acted for your own good. Accusing me like this leaves me utterly speechless. Jiang Ruozhu rolled her eyes and fainted as well. Rumors in the capital grew increasingly wild. Some swore they'd always known Jiang Ruozhu was a hypocrite. I heard the marquis is actually smitten with the Jiang family's concubine-born daughter. He staged this whole affair just to marry her openly. Fake news. Who'd be that crazy? She's just a concubine's daughter, why go through all this trouble to marry her? Your sources are outdated. My cousin's sister-in-law's niece told me the marquis and Jiang Ruozhu have been exchanging glances for ages. His proposal to the Jiang family's legitimate daughter? That's because she resembles his brother. So it's a case of resembling the beloved after all. Meanwhile, the capital's publishing houses exploded in popularity. Titles like Brother Above All and My Brother and I Part Ways in Battle sold like hotcakes, with demand outstripping supply. Counting my silver coins, I grinned from ear to ear and decided to burn the midnight oil to write a few more. The Jiang family's reputation plummeted to rock bottom. Girls who'd once considered betrothal to my brother hurriedly arranged other marriages. Officials' wives and daughters stopped extending invitations to the Jiang household. Father's hair turned noticeably grayer, while mother sighed deeply every day, no longer seeking me out. She loved me dearly, but compared to Jiang Ruozhu, I simply mattered less. Everyone in the family wished me dead, yet dared not act now, fearful of giving others another chance to mock us. And I didn't regret a single thing I'd done. Why should my mistakes be exposed and punished, while their schemes remain hidden? Shared honor, shared disgrace. I murmured this phrase aloud, laughing. How true it was. A family should stand united. Half a year later, Jiang Ninglan married the Marquis after weathering many storms. True love had finally triumphed. But this time, there was none of the grandeur from my past life. Only a handful of guests attended the ceremony, and the dowry was meager, filled with cheap items meant to make up the numbers. Before stepping out, Jiang Ninglan looked at me with pride. The timidity that once filled her eyes and brows was gone. Second sister, let me give you some advice. He who sows the wind shall reap the whirlwind. I recalled her past life. After marrying the Marquis, their bond deepened. He never cast a second glance at other women, replacing all his attendants with men. He even refused to eat female poultry or fish. The entire capital envied her skill in controlling her husband. I shot her a half smile, half sneer. Once, chastity had ruined me. Now, I refuse to use the same tactic against women. But that doesn't mean I'll let her off the hook. Dear sister, I've saved a special gift for you. I hope you like it. 3 days after the wedding, when she returned to her parents' home, Ninglan's face bore an unmistakable pallor. The Marquis pretended not to notice, drinking cup after cup of wine. Not a single laugh could be heard throughout the entire banquet. Only I ate with relish, my mouth full of delicious flavors. After the meal, the Marquis and Jiang Ruozhu retired to the front courtyard. The old matriarch hurried to console Ninglan. Men are fickle creatures. You must keep your composure. Just bear him a legitimate heir, and all will be well. At the words legitimate heir, tears spilled from Ninglan's eyes. On their wedding night, the Marquis had stormed out and never once returned to her chamber. The matriarch, unaware of the true cause, assumed the Marquis was taking out his anger over the emperor's rebuke on Ninglan. She imparted numerous strategies for winning people over. No man is immune to the allure of beauty. Be a proper wife. Allow him to take a few concubines. With time, he'll surely recognize your virtues. As long as they bear no legitimate sons, concubines are merely lowly playthings. They won't cause any major upheaval. Ninglan nodded tearfully. Yet a month later, the Marquis grew even more dissolute, abandoning his harem of women to frequent the Nanfeng pavilion. Only then did Ninglan grasp the truth. She stormed to the Jiang residence, wailing, Jiang Ningxue, you ruined the Marquis. Heh heh. A rare opportunity. That day I didn't just administer a drug that clouds the mind and stirs passion. I also slipped in a barrenness potion and an impotence drug. It was precisely to procure these concoctions that I delayed my departure, granting them the chance to catch them in the act. I'd worried the potions might prove ineffective, but now I'm finally at ease. I puckered my lips. Sister, I'm at a loss for words at such slander. Ninglan lunged at me like a madwoman, her expression deranged. Jiang Ningxue, you'll get your comeuppance. I never wronged you. Why did you harm me so cruelly? I dodged her instantly, watching her tumble awkwardly to the ground. Though she and the Marquis could never share deep marital affection in this life, he remained as uninterested in women as in his past life. Thinking of it that way, she hadn't really lost anything. Jiang Ningxue. I won't let you off the hook. Ninglan spat at her threat before storming off. Within days, rumors began swirling through the capital. The Jiang family's legitimate daughter had engaged in illicit affairs and murdered her lover, coinciding with the discovery of Song Yurong's remains. Everyone suspected I was the killer. Heh heh. You guessed right, too bad you have no proof. When Song Yurong met me, he avoided others. After he left, I had his room searched. Our correspondence had long been destroyed. No one could prove I was the last person he saw. There was no evidence I killed him. After the Jingzhou prefecture officials asked a few questions, the case was closed. Song Yurong had accidentally fallen off a cliff. Mother finally saw me. Her eyes held both hatred and reluctance. Ning Shui. At this point, your second half of life is already ruined. Is it worth it? I smiled faintly. Mother, would you like to hear a story? Decades of living as a lonely, wandering spirit had long since driven me mad. No matter how bad things got now, they couldn't get much worse. Jiang Ruoshu snapped out of her melancholy and prepared to find a girl from a lowly family to marry, bear a son, and raise the next generation. But she discovered she had become a useless person. The Jiang family could no longer tolerate me. On the day I left the Jiang household, only my mother came to see me off. I embraced her one last time, then walked away without looking back. She would grieve, then slowly forget me, just as she did in my past life. Chun Tao asked me, Miss, where shall we go? I led her into a Taoist temple I'd purchased with my secret savings from selling illustrated books. From now on, call me master. You shall be my foremost disciple. Qingfeng Taoist temple was small and dilapidated, which is why I could afford it. That night, Chun Tao and I hid in the cellar, narrowly escaping an assassination attempt. I knew the assassins were sent by the Marquis. He hated me for drugging him, turning him into a eunuch. While I was in the Jiang household, he couldn't act. But now he'd finally found his chance. Chun Tao shivered violently. Miss, we must flee. Run far, far away. I stroked her head. No need to rush. The next day, I finally met the person I sought, Magistrate Zhang of the Imperial Astronomical Bureau. Miss Jiang, is what you said true? Days prior, I'd sent him a message. The embankment in Huayan County would breach by month's end, causing countless deaths and injuries. At first, Magistrate Zhang didn't believe me. It wasn't until yesterday, when news of half a month of continuous heavy rains in Huayan County reached the capital, that he finally took it seriously. In my past life as a wandering spirit, I had heard of these great events. I remember Huayan County, littered with corpses, very clearly. I told him firmly, it is absolutely true. If I speak falsely, I am willing to accept any punishment. My only request is that Magistrate Zhang must find a way to protect me. After pondering for a moment, Magistrate Zhang nodded. By month's end, the embankments in Huayan County breached exactly as I had foretold. Because the populace had been evacuated in advance, casualties were minimal. The emperor rewarded me, bestowing upon me the honorary title, Master Shanda. Qingfeng Temple became a renowned Taoist monastery, restored with grandeur and splendor, and my life was secured. Within the palace, I delivered my second prophecy to His Majesty. Next May, Dengzhou shall suffer a great drought, scorching the land for 1,000 miles. With each prophecy fulfilled, no one in the capital dared underestimate me anymore. When Chun Tao told me that commoners had erected a monument to my longevity, my heart stirred, and the shadows of past and present lives gradually lifted. That day, the sky was clear, its radiance shining across 10,000 miles. Extra chapter. The former Marquis Xiaoyu, stripped of his title under Jiang Ningxue's suppression, saw his marquisate transformed into the Xiao manor. To conceal his own incapacitation, Xiao Yu proclaimed to the world his deep marital devotion to Jiang Ninglan, vowing never to take another wife. Even after 3 barren years, Xiao Yu showed not the slightest concern. The noble ladies of the capital all envied Jiang Ninglan's good fortune. "Madame Xiao," they murmured, "I hear Lord Xiao has dismissed all his concubines, keeping only you by his side. Truly, he is a man of rare virtue. 1 in a million." Jiang Ninglan offered a stiff smile. What could she possibly say? That while there were no concubines in the household, they kept a harem of male favorites? He treats you so well, be grateful. At least give him an heir. I have a secret formula for conceiving, take it home and try it. Guaranteed to work. Hearing these childbirth exhortations again, Jiang Ninglan fled in panic. Back at the Xiao residence, a slovenly Xiao Yu greeted her. "Oh, back so early? Why not linger longer and soak up the adulation?" Facing this man who lavished her with scorn, Jiang Ninglan felt a chill in her heart. She'd done nothing wrong, why had she ended up in this situation? Recalling years of self-sacrifice and compromise, she finally erupted, "I didn't even despise you for being useless. Why must you torment me relentlessly?" Xiao Yu sneered coldly, "What right do you have to despise me? If you hadn't constantly flaunted your grievances before me, why would I have schemed against Jiang Ningxue? Why would she have crippled me? All this is because of you." Jiang Ninglan paled. "I never asked you to do any of that." "Ha! Jiang Ninglan, what are you pretending? If you didn't ask me, then why did you tell me about my own sister's private affairs? Admit it, when you found out I'd set up Jiang Ningxue for you. You were delighted, weren't you?" Jiang Ninglan couldn't refute him, for he spoke the truth. Their mutual hatred bound them in an inescapable entanglement. The once bustling Jiang residence now held not a single trace of joyful laughter. The old matriarch became truly alone, while Jiang Ruoshu drowned her sorrows in wine daily. The clearest-headed among them was Mrs. Jiang. Now Jiang Ningsno had become the Taoist priest favored by the emperor, saving countless lives. After delivering gifts to Madame Jiang several times, the Jiang household understood her intentions. No one in the Jiang family dared look down on her. They all hoped to mend relations with Jiang Ningxue through her, restoring the Jiang household to its former state. Madame Jiang, however, sat quietly in the Buddhist hall. All these years since marrying into the Jiang family, she had borne children, raised them, and supported her husband. Yet now, her children were at each other's throats, and her family was in shambles. It wasn't until her daughter shared a story that she understood, past actions bear present consequences. Why force what cannot be? Later, Jiang Ningxue sent a letter. "Mother, the spring waters of Jiangnan are green. Would you care to journey with me?" Madame Jiang finally found peace. With tears in her eyes, she instructed the matron to pack her belongings. Past 40, she finally glimpsed the light of spring. Fortunately, the spring light remained unchanged. The end.